Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are discussing the new drop rate up units, Krau and Tenebria, whether you should pull for them, and that's actually pretty much it. We'll maybe mention some other things about the patch note during the video, but first, it's like, I know Krau is really good already. I fought him a lot in Arena, and I'm pretty sure he has just a nice general skill set. I don't know much about Tenebria, so we're going to be checking her out as well. But let's go ahead and start with Krau. He is a knight, but like every time I fight him, he pretty much one-shots anyone he attacks, because he does like a lot of damage. So on his first skill, he can provoke 50% chance, damage going up depending on his max health. Gives an area-wide defense boost to all allies with his second, as well as decreasing the enemy's combat readiness by 35%, which is quite nice. And that goes up to 50% once you get those Molagores in there. Also as low as a 3-turn cooldown, which definitely isn't bad. And finally we have his ult, which penetrates their defense fully, like Moonlight Shuri's ult, also dealing extra damage depending on Krau's lost health. In addition to that, he'll also give himself a barrier. Since it can't trigger a critical hit, no point of really building him critical, since this I think is the thing that's gonna do the actual damage. The other two don't really do much damage. So as far as the damage Krau is concerned, I would assume he can't really do that much outside of PvP, because I mean, ultimately he is a knight. We can check out his stats really. Yeah, 839 attack is definitely pretty low generally. It's not super low for a knight, I think, but yeah, generally, you know. But the fact it completely penetrates defense, and if he himself has lost some health, and then he gives himself a barrier, so it's a very nice ult, and he's incredibly hard to kill with this defense increased, barrier, blah blah blah. So I hate fighting this dude in Arena. I avoid him if possible. Also, if you're lacking a good frontline for Wyvern 11, he is a very good option. Because he can be very tanky. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have any like defense breaks like one of the other ones do, I believe Tywin, but still should be pretty good. I'm sure he can be a solid general tank, probably not so much for damages in PvE, maybe still a bit with his ult, but not a lot. And again, super tanky, can protect the rest of your units with that increased defense, the barrier for himself, so yeah, very solid. So we also have Tenebria. I think her Moonlight variant got a buff, but I don't think she did. So she's a mage. All of her skills are AoE, which can be good for PvP as well. Also, sleep is going to be almost exclusive to PvP because bosses are mostly immune to sleep. Some are just immune to stun, but I know a lot are immune to sleep as well. Up to a 35% chance to put them to sleep, and if they do fall asleep, her combat readiness increases by 50%. So that can be pretty powerful. A 35% chance is a little low, but sleep is a pretty nice debuff if you don't have any other AoEs, because if you hit them while they're asleep, they'll wake up. It will count as a critical hit, but that doesn't mean much when you have a lot of crit chance anyway. Second skill is pretty straightforward, up to 30% combat readiness reduction. Again, can be very useful for PvP purposes, a little bit more RNG than someone like Shadow Rose or Judith, because it's decreasing combat readiness rather than increasing your teams, so they could resist it. And finally, her ult is kind of similar to Bellona's. AoE, defense break, unfortunately only up to a 75% chance, unlike Bellona, which I believe is like 100%, but she'll also increase her own attack for 2 turns. But overall, I'm sure she would fit very well in a PvP team that's focused on AoE, but sleep is a pretty nice debuff if you don't have any other AoEs, because if you hit them while they're asleep, they'll wake up, and if you build her with a lot of speed, you can get that ult off, hopefully decrease someone's defense, get another AoE ult off, you know, kill someone. You know, could be pretty good. It's just with that sort of strategy, you would probably need a different combat readiness manipulator though, because if you want to try and decrease their defense, you're not gonna be able to do her second skill. As far as PvE is concerned, I'm not too sure. I mean, defense down is always useful, but it is on a 5-turn cooldown, and it's a 75% chance. Most of the time in PvE, you really only need to decrease the defense of one enemy at a time, and mostly it's just going to be the boss anyway, so I still think I prefer higher chance single target defense breaks. On a long cooldown with a not 100% chance, I don't think she's going to be a very good defense breaker. So I'm not too sure how well she would perform in PvE, probably not that well, but if your focus is in PvP, I'm sure she can do pretty good there. Let's check out her stats, I suppose. A lot of attack, dang, she has a lot of attack. A little bit low on the base speed, not too low. You can still make her fast, but a bit low, yeah. Solid stats all around. I would say. The bad thing with this banner is, unless you really want both of them, I would say skip it, because when we're going to be looking at the chances here, they both have a 0.4% chance instead of one of them having a 0.8. So if they like both had 0.8% chances, then it would be a good idea to summon if you wanted either of them. But since they kind of share the drop rate up, then unless you really want both of them, I would stay away from this banner. Also, due to the fact there's been talk of exclusive units coming soon, a crossover collaboration sort of thing. We're probably going to be getting some special exclusive units where we have to summon 120 times to get them guaranteed, something like that. And so it's probably a better idea just to save your crystals and bookmarks anyway, you know? And first of all, we have a husbando in there. Tenebria, nice waifu, but half chance. But the thing is, they're not even new. They're not even that exciting. They've been here for a long time, you know? It would be more interesting, like I said, if they both had the actual drop rate up chances instead of like half each. Personally, I'm staying away. I know there were a lot of people that were waiting for a Krau banner. I've seen that quite a bit, but it's kind of bad now because we also have Tenebria in there. So I mean, you can do a few pulls on it, sure. Maybe you're one of those lucky people that always get the rate up unit in like 4 pulls or something. I also hear a lot about that. Ooh, a burnt ring. So to answer the question of the title of this video, no, you shouldn't. But who am I to say don't do it? Krau for sure is nice, but it's not a dedicated banner, which is kind of dumb. And I'm sure Tenebria is probably good too in some things. Definitely more for PvP, but yeah, I personally like kind of rounded units. But yeah, we also got this side story, My Knight Would Never. Probably about halfway done with it or something. Let's see what we got here. Reputation rewards. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like, what do we got? Catalyst. That's like the most useful thing usually. Oh, we also got a Mulagora. That's very nice. I mean, we always get a Mulagora, so I shouldn't be surprised, but it's cool regardless. Yeah, I don't think I need any of these right now, but still cool. Of course gonna buy them because you never know when you're gonna grab a unit that needs them, and then if you don't have them, have fun in adventure mode. Also, they changed the targeted icon. See it there? I think it's pretty nice. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. This wasn't a very big patch. So besides a few visual changes and bug fixes, there really wasn't anything besides the side story here. And you know, that's fine. Can't have a new hero every week or every other week or whatever, and a bunch of big changes. So little patches like this are cool too. It would have been nice if they had like separate banners for Krau and Tenebria, or maybe having them rotate on different days, like Krau today, Tenebria tomorrow, so you can kind of choose. But I mean, if they were going to do that, they may as well just have had separate banners from the beginning anyway. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. In general, I would say don't summon. If you need a tank for Wyvern 11, there's always Crozet. He was a connection hero, totally free. He's been working really well for me, especially after his buff. Literally 100% success rate on auto Wyvern 11 now. With that buff, sometimes he would die, you know, but with that buff and this Sword of Azurza, I believe, an event artifact, so totally free as well. Yeah, he's really tanking through everything. So unless you're like super into PvP and you don't have a very good PvP team, I would really recommend staying away from the banner. But make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Leaving a like if you're having to enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.